Good afternoon, ma'am.
Voice is too low.
Hello.
Ma'am, your volume is low, I guess.
It is in 100%.
No, ma'am, we cannot hear you clearly.
Nothing.
We can
Ma'am,
hear you, but your
आपको
voice is
आवाज
too low.
Oh, so what should I do actually? Because this volume, no, I have taken to 100% actually.
मैम एकदम सानो हो आवाज
Shall I try again? I'll sign out and I'll log in. Okay. Once we can try this. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
If I shout, then you can hear this much.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
This is.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then I'll do same actually. So yesterday also nursing student were complaining about same sound was not that much actually. So 2 more minutes we can wait. Right? So how many are present now?
12.
12. Okay. 27. So till 30 we can wait. After that we'll start. Okay. start the class now? Hello.
Ma'am, only 42 of.
Time is already 2:30, right? So we should start, I think. We'll join, okay? Forty are there?
46.
Topic is not very long. If above 50, then you can tell, okay? From that, we'll start the class. Hello? So we'll start now, okay? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is here?
Sneha.
Yeah. Okay, she's there, right? Hello? Hello?
Ma'am, your voice is very low.
Still no? You can't hear? Hello? Hello?
Can,
Now we can hear.
We can hear, ma'am.
You can't listen?
We can.
we can.
We can, ma'am.
Got low, right? So we'll start the class, okay? So we'll not
Yes,
wait for other students. So we are starting with the
Yes, ma'am.
lateral side of the leg, right? So in the lateral side of the leg, we'll get, first you have to know the bone that is present on the lateral side, that you can see. So tibia was on the medial side of the leg, right? On the lateral side of the leg, there is one more bone that is known as the fibula. Okay, so you can see here. So this is the medial bone, that is tibia. On the lateral side is the fibula, that is thin, long, and slender bone. So in the fibula now you can see only that is grossly I am telling about the fibula. In practical class, then we'll discuss in detail about this bone. Okay, so here you can see it facing upward, that is the head of the fibula. So this part, that is the rounded and upper, okay, dilated part, that is the head. And then after that you can see the shaft of the fibula and the lower end of the fibula. Okay, so head, and then the shaft and the lower end, and in between the head and the shaft of the fibula you can see the constricted part, that is known as the neck of the fibula. Okay, so in the upper part you can see the, that is the pointed end, that is known as the apex of the fibula. Okay, these are the part. After that, what you have to know according to our today's actually topic. So you can see here one prominent. So you can see in this part. So this is the anterior view and this is the posterior view of the, that is the tibia and the fibula. So if you see here, there is the one prominent border you can see down. If you go from above downward, that is known as the interosseous border, because in between the, this is the interosseous border of the tibia, that is on the lateral side, and this is the, in the anterior part of the fibula you can see the interosseous border. Okay, see, this is the interosseous border of the fibula, whereas in the medial, in the lateral side of the tibia, that is the interosseous border of the tibia. So in between these two borders, that is the interosseous, you can see a gap in between the tibia and the fibula. So here there is the interosseous membrane. Okay, so attachment of the interosseous membrane in between the laterally, that is interosseous border, and the anterior part of the fibula. See the interosseous border of the fibula. So today you have to know about the, remember, interosseous border of the fibula. So in between the interosseous border, now you have to see the surface. So this is more laterally. So lateral to the interosseous border is the lateral surface of the fibula, and medial towards, that is towards the tibia, that is the medial surface of the fibula. Okay. So on the lower end, that is the, you can feel in your, that is the lower end of the leg also in the ankle joint, that is the dilated lower end, that is known as the lateral malleolus, which is formed by the lower end of the fibula. These are the parts. So now apex of the fibula, and as a whole, that is the head of the fibula, and the constricted end, that is known as the neck of the fibula, and long cylinder, you can see this is the shaft of the fibula, and the lower end of the fibula, which will form the, that is the lateral malleolus. Okay, that you have to remember. So after that, what you have to know from today's topic, this is, I think you know that this is the diagram showing the articulated foot. In the articulated foot, in the articulated foot, what you have to remember, this is the calcaneus posteriorly, that is heel forming bone, you can see calcaneus, and just above and anterior you can see the talus. Okay, so anterior to the calcaneus, one more bone you can see, today you have to remember, this is the cuboid, cube-like structure. So you can see this is the cuboid bone, and more medial to the cuboid is a navicular bone, like board-shaped bone. Okay, so on the same line with the cuboid, if you go more medially, this is the medial side, this is the lateral side. Okay, so if you go more medially, you will get a 3 cuneiform. These are new name to you. Listen very carefully. Okay, so cuboid bone you are getting on the lateral side, and after that, if you go more medially, first is the navicular bone, and after that you can get the 3 cuneiform. So either you go from medial to lateral, this is the lateral side, so lateral and intermediate and more medial, we can see medial. So more medial if you go, that is the medial, 3 cuneiform bone. So cuboid, navicular bone, one is the, that is the lateral cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, and the medial cuneiform bone. And after that you can see the 3, that is a 5 metatarsal bone. So 5th metatarsal bone, so lateral, so for, that is the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and the 4th metatarsal bone, and this is the base of the metatarsal bone. These all, that is the dilated part of the, this is the part of the metatarsal bone. So these are the, that is the base of the metatarsal bone. And one more thing here, in the calcaneus, again you have to remember one, that is the trochlea of the calcaneus, that is also known as the, here you can see that elevated part, that is the peroneal or the fibular trochlea of the calcaneus. Just below this trochlea, you can see a groove, that is depressed area just below the peroneal trochlea, okay, of the calcaneus. So here can you see the groove? Okay, this groove is for the one muscle that is present on the, that is the lateral compartment of the leg, that is also known as peroneal surface. That is the groove for the peroneus longus muscle, that is, okay, tendon of the peroneus longus tendon passes just below the peroneal trochlea in the groove. Okay, so this structure you have to remember, and this is the lateral surface, as a whole is the lateral surface of the calcaneus. And one more thing today you have to remember, this is the cuboid bone. If you go below, that is, this is the dorsal surface, and you have to see the plantar surface. So just inferior surface of the, this is the cuboid bone, you will get the tunnel, that is depressed channel or the canal type structure on the inferior or the plantar surface of the cuboid bone. That you have to remember. Okay, so here you can see that is elevated part, that is the fibular or the peroneal trochlea, and just below the trochlea, that is the groove for the that passage of the tendon of peroneus longus muscle. Okay, this you have to remember. So now coming to the boundary of the lateral side of the leg. So first of all, if you see this diagram, it will be very clear for you. So if you go towards the medial side of the, that is the lateral side of the leg. Okay, so medially the lateral side of the leg is formed by the, so this part, this is the peroneal surface, or just now we have discussed the fibula has the medial surface, lateral surface, and the posterior surface. So medial to the interosseous border is the medial surface, and the, that is the lateral to the interosseous border. Now you have to remember interosseous border. that is lateral to the interosseous border, that is the peroneal surface or the lateral surface, you can see. So this, that is the medially, it is related to the peroneal surface of the fibula, and laterally this structure you can see round. So this is the lateral surface which is formed by the deep fascia of the leg. Okay. Okay, after that anteriorly, this green color you can see. So this is the anterior view and this is the posterior view. So anteriorly it is formed by the anterior intermuscular septa, which is nothing but the deep fascia only, modification of the deep fascia itself. That is the anterior intermuscular septum anteriorly, and posteriorly you can see this again green color, that is the posterior intermuscular septum. Okay. So boundaries, medially is the peroneal surface of the fibula, laterally is by the deep fascia, and anteriorly same modification of deep fascia, that is the anterior intermuscular septum, and the posteriorly is by the posterior intermuscular septum. Okay, this is about the boundary of the lateral side of the leg. So after that, what are the content present within the lateral side of the leg? So I think that is the less content in the lateral side of the leg. If you compare with till now, you have studied so many muscles, right? Here only you will get one nerve and the two muscles. Okay, so only two muscles on the lateral surface or the peroneal surface. That is the, by its name itself, that is the peroneus longus. By the name, long means longus, smaller means or shorter means brevis. Okay, brother you can say. So longus, you can see this is the long muscle, that is the peroneus longus. Just deeper to the peroneal longus you will get one more muscle, that is the peroneus brevis. So this is the muscular content of the lateral compartment of leg. Okay, so after that is the nerve of the lateral compartment of leg, that is the superficial peroneal nerve, which is the branch of the common peroneal nerve. Okay, common peroneal nerve, which will divide into superficial peroneal nerve and the deep peroneal nerve. So superficial peroneal nerve will supply the muscles of the lateral compartment of the leg and certain part of the skin. Okay, on the lateral side of the leg along with the dorsum of the foot. Okay, and artery, it doesn't have its own artery, but branches from the posterior tibial artery will give the peroneal branch to supply the, that is the lateral compartment of the leg, but it doesn't have its own artery. Okay, so after that venous drainage. So most of the vein from the lateral compartment of the leg will drain into the short saphenous vein, which finally drain into the popliteal vein. So in details about the venous drainage of the lower limb, there is class, separate class for this. Okay, venous drainage. So after that we'll go for the muscles. So now we have to know in the muscle, I think you have already known by now. So you have to know about the origin first, most important, insertion, action, and the nerve supply of this muscle. Very, very important muscle, that is peroneus longus muscle. In Viva also we ask most of the time, that is the origin, insertion of the peroneus longus muscle. Okay, so here, you have studied about the pinate, that is type of muscle by orientation of the fibers in the, that is general anatomy also. So if you go for that idea, in the upper part, peroneus longus muscle is bipinnate, right? So unipinnate, you know that half feather type, and the double, that is the bipinnate. So in upper part, so peroneus longus is bipinnate, and when it goes towards the lower end, see till here, this is the upper end, and in the lower end again it will form the unipinnate. Okay, two pinnate muscle in the same muscle. And origin, if you see here, this red color, so now you know about the head of the fibula, right? Upper end of the fibula is the head of the fibula. So one origin is from the, that is the head of the fibula. And after that, now you have to remember upper 2/3 of the lateral surface. Okay, not the medial surface, not. Okay, so upper 2/3. Now you have to remember upper 2/3 of the lateral surface of the fibula, and the head of the fibula, that is also on the adjacent surface along with that lateral surface of fibula. And after that, two intramuscular septa, that is the anterior and the intramuscular septa. Along with that, the deep fascia present above that. So this is about the origin of the peroneus longus muscle. You have to remember. So here, upper 2/3 of the lateral surface of the fibula, and the two intermuscular septum, that is anterior and posterior, and the deep fascia. So this is about the origin of the peroneus longus muscle. Okay, this is the peroneus longus muscle. So after that, insertion. So a long force is there in the peroneus longus. So in detail, you have to know about the peroneus longus muscle. So you can see that is the belly, that is the muscular part of the peroneus longus, and long tendon. So here you can see the tendon of the peroneus longus. So first is the muscular part. This muscular part, after that it will in the lower end, it will form the tendon. So long tendon which lies, if you go deeper to this tendon, is the peroneus brevis, that is the smaller muscle or the shorter muscle, you can say. So peroneus longus, deeper to is the peroneus brevis, and after that the tendon is going downward. So if you see, this is the lateral malleoli formed by the fibula, lower end of the fibula. So it is behind, behind the lateral malleolus there is a groove. So these tendon, both actually peroneus longus and brevis, if you see, they lie in the groove behind this lateral malleolus of the fibula. Okay, so both the tendon, now if you see, that is the peroneus longus and the brevis tendon. Here you can see the band like structure. Can you see white color? This is the band of, that is the deep fascia, that is known as the retinaculum. This in the peroneal side, that is why that is the peroneal retinaculum. That is also superior. You can see superior, and below is the inferior. So this is passes beneath the superior peroneal retinaculum. Okay, these are the retinaculum is like the retainer or the band like structure formed by the deep fascia. Okay, so both the tendon of the peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis will passes beneath the, that is the superior peroneal retinaculum. Okay, after that you can see here both the tendon, that is same thing, peroneal retinaculum, and this dark blue color you can see, this is the synovial sheath. So till here, till the lower end of the superior retinaculum, you can see they are passing on the common synovial sheath. Okay, so these are the two tendon of the peroneus longus and brevis passing behind the, that is in the groove behind the, that is the lateral malleolus in the common synovial sheath. Okay, and then the after that, so we are talking about the peroneus longus mainly, right? So peroneus longus tendon now passes, here you can see passes downward and forward. Okay, so they are passing downward and the forward. So this short is the till here is the brevis. Okay, so we are going more forward and medially for the tracing of the peroneus longus muscle. So here also you can see superficial is the peroneus longus, and we have to, that is reflect to see the peroneus brevis. Now the lodges, this peroneus longus lodges in the separate group below the, now that is just now I mentioned, that is of, now you have to remember in the calcaneum there was peroneal trochlea of the calcaneus, right? Just below was the groove. So here this is, you can see white color, this is the peroneal trochlea. So lodges now in the separate group, that is just below the peroneal trochlea. That is about the peroneus longus muscle. Now under cover of the inferior peroneal retinaculum. So this was the superior peroneal retinaculum, and this is now the inferior peroneal retinaculum. Okay, so that is now in the separate synovial sheath under cover of the inferior peroneal retinaculum, where there now you can see the separate synovial sheath for the peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis. Okay, now it is going more forward. So this was the calcaneus bone. Now here you can see the cuboid bone. Okay, so on the now lateral side, because cuboid is in the lateral side, navicular bone is on the medial side. Okay, so it is now passing towards forward, downward forward, now towards the lateral end of the cuboid bone. Okay, after that it is going again forward and medially. Okay, so on the lateral side of the cuboid bone, peroneus longus now change the direction for the second time. That means it is going more forward and the medially. Okay, and now lodges, just now we mentioned in the plantar surface of the cuboid bone, there is a groove or the depressed area for the passage of the peroneus longus muscle. So now this tunnel, that is the one groove was there, okay, depressed area. Now by the fibrous tissue and the bone, they will form the tunnel, okay. That this now muscle, that is tendon of the peroneus longus, now lies in the this tunnel, that is the osteofibrous tunnel, which is present on the plantar surface of the cuboid bone, okay. Now finally, so this was the course of the peroneus longus muscle. Finally this tendon is inserted, that is the insertion in the inferolateral. Now you have to imagine that is the first metatarsal bone, that is the inferolateral surface of the base of first metatarsal bone, and along with that, that is the adjacent medial cuneiform. There are three cuneiform, so you have to go to the medial cuneiform and the base of first metatarsal bone. So final insertion in the MCQ also you have to remember inferolateral surface of the, so it is coming from the lateral side but inserting going towards more medial side, okay, and then finally that is insertion on the inferolateral side of the base of the first metatarsal bone and the medial cuneiform bone. So here it is going from this side, right? It was coming from the lateral side in this groove and going forward and on the groove on the first, that is cuboid bone, and going downward, okay. Here you can see this is the groove for the in the just in the inferior surface of the cuboid bone, okay. So from here there is a groove for the peroneus longus tendon, that is in the plantar surface. So this is the dorsal view, this is the plantar view. So in the plantar surface of the cuboid bone you can see this groove. So later on it will convert into the tunnel by the, that is the, this is osteo means bone, and above there will be fibrous tissue. So it is going forward, okay, medially also, and inserted in the inferolateral surface. So this surface of the base of the, that is first metatarsal bone, and this is the medial cuneiform is in this side of the medial cuneiform, adjacent side of the medial cuneiform bone. So after long course it is inserting into the base, that is also inferolateral. So this is the medial surface, right? So this is the inferolateral surface of the base of the first metatarsal bone and the adjacent side of the medial cuneiform bone, okay. Same thing, you can see the superior retinaculum. In this time these two tendons are together, and this is the small, that is inferior retinaculum, okay, and the common synovial sheath. So this tendon you can see tendon coming from lateral side and passing forward medially to insert into the, this is the first metatarsal bone base and the cuneiform bone. So after that, nerve supply of the peroneus longus muscle. So it is supplied by now common peroneal nerve is coming on the lateral side of the neck of the fibula. You can see that division of the common peroneal nerve, which is the division, that is the branch of the sciatic nerve. So common peroneal nerve now in the neck of the fibula, on the lateral side of the neck of the fibula will divide into, you can see, and that is the deep peroneal nerve for the anterior compartment, and the, you can see the, that is the superficial peroneal nerve, okay, to supply the lateral compartment of the leg, okay. So superficial peroneal nerve will give the tweak to the peroneus longus muscle. Here also you can see, so deep peroneal nerve is going towards the anterior compartment and the superficial peroneal nerve to supply the this lateral compartment of the leg. So after that, action. So now you have to remember these are the muscle, both the peroneus longus and brevis, that is the lateral compartment of the leg, are the everter of the foot. So in this case you have to move the leg towards the lateral side. So dorsum of the side of the foot will be more laterally. So that is the eversion of the foot. That, okay, that's the action. Most important action is the eversion or the everter of the foot. Along with that, in the prolonged action, if you are doing for long duration, that eversion of foot, again that automatically it will transform into the plantar flexion of the foot. That is also in the this ankle joint. Okay, so along with the everter of the foot, they are also the plantar flexor of the foot in the ankle joint. Okay, that is the most important action you have to remember. Along with that, it also maintains, that is the lateral longitudinal arch of the foot. That means lateral longitudinal arch of the foot is mainly maintained by the calcaneus. So while standing, which are the bone you use normally, right? That is the calcaneus bone, cuboid bone. Okay, along with that, that is the fifth and the fourth metatarsal bone. So these all together, that is bony part, will form the, that is the lateral longitudinal arch. So calcaneus, anterior to the calcaneus is the cuboid bone, and the two metatarsal bone, that is the lateral one, fourth and the fifth metatarsal bone, together they will form the lateral longitudinal arch. So they will maintain the, that is flattened. So you are standing with this one. Okay, so that is the via the, that is the peroneus longus muscle. Okay, so maintain the lateral longitudinal arch. Along with that, it also maintain the transverse arch of the foot. Okay, so these are the two things you have to remember. In detail about the arch of the foot, there will be again separate class. Okay, so after that, for the transverse arch, you have to remember that is formed by the cuboid bone and the three cuneiform bone, including the, that is the first, second, third, fourth, fifth metatarsal bone. Okay, so 5 metatarsal bone, cuboid bone, and the 3 cuneiform bone will form the transverse arch of the foot. Okay, that is in the coronal plane. And after that, one more muscle, that is the peroneus brevis muscle. So just now we have discussed about the peroneus longus, which was originated from the that is the upper two-thirds of the lateral surface of the fibula. So now this peroneus brevis, if you see, that is arising from the lower two-thirds of the lateral surface of the fibula. Okay, so upper two-thirds lateral surface is the longus, whereas the lower two-thirds and the lateral surface is the, that is the peroneus brevis muscle. And by, according to the pinnate, that is the bipinnate type of muscle, peroneus brevis is a bipinnate muscle. So in example, you can write in the general anatomy, example of bipinnate, that is peroneus brevis also you can include. So along with that, it also arises from the anterior and the posterior intermuscular septum. So most importantly is from the, that is the lower two-thirds of the, and that is the lateral surface of the fibula or the peroneal surface of the fibula. Now the course still is the superior retinaculum is almost same. So lodges in the groove behind the lateral malleolus in close contact with the, you can see here. So it was most slightly laterally, but peroneus brevis is in contact with the bone here with the fibula and in accompany with the peroneus longus. Okay, behind the superior retinaculum. So after that, you can see the envelope in the common synovial sheath and passes downward and forward. So now you have to remember one more thing, that is below the peroneal trochlea was the peroneus longus. Now it is above the peroneus trochlea of the calcaneus. Okay. Now they are passing on the inferior retinaculum, under the inferior retinaculum, and inserted into, now that is the tubercle is present on the base of the fifth metatarsal bone. So this is the apex side. So this is the base of the fifth metatarsal bone. That is on the dorsal side only. So on the dorsal side of the foot only, it is shorter course. That's why the name also given like it is the peroneus brevis muscle. So it is attached on the, that is the tubercle. There is elevation present on the base of the fifth metatarsal bone. That is on the dorsal side only. Here only, so you can see the tuberosity or the tubercle of the fifth metatarsal bone. So insertion of the peroneus brevis will be here. After that, nerve supply same as the peroneus longus, supplied by the peroneal, that is the superficial peroneal nerve. So you can see the tweak for the peroneus brevis muscle. So action, averter of the foot. Okay, along with that, there are the weak plantar flexor also, and maintain the lateral longitudinal arch of the foot. So this, if you want to study that in the tabular form is also given. You can go through this one. So I've already described the origin. You can see here origin of the longus, insertion, nerve supply, and the action. Same for the peroneus brevis also. So if you want in tabular form, you can. It will be easy for you, I think. So after that, the applied aspect of the topic actually. So just now we have mentioned they are in the common synovial sheath, right? So peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis both are in the common synovial sheath. Sometimes they are subjected to friction. So okay, mainly when we use that closed shoes, okay, in that time there will be inflammation, okay, of this tendon and the pain in that area actually. So now other than that you can see normal action of the peroneus muscle is that is the averter of the foot. So if there is a nerve injury, in those cases there will be different condition of our foot. You can see that is the talus varus is there, talus valgi is there, or the valgus, talus varus or the valgus we will discuss here. So when because lateral compartment of the leg is supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve for the muscle that is peroneus longus and the brevis, whose action is the averter of the foot. So now if the that is superficial peroneal nerve is injured, that is in the neck of the fibula, so there is the chances of the fracture of the neck of the fibula. In that case, superficial peroneal nerve might damage. Okay, in that case, there will be paralysis of the muscle, okay, along with the sensory supply in the respective area. So if these muscles, that is the aorta of the foot, are paralyzed, then what will happen? So there will be along with that, in that cases, because inverter muscles of the foot has to act, and then in that case the deformity will be like talus varus. So normally that was eversion of the foot, but if the superficial peroneal or the nerve is damaged, then there will be inversion of the foot, okay, because the muscles present in the anterior compartment of leg will overtake and they will be overactive and leading to the condition like this. So this is known as the talus varus condition of the foot. Okay, when there is a damage of the superficial peroneal nerve and leading to the paralysis of the peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis muscle. Okay, along with that, overactivity of the peroneus muscle. Okay, so when there is damage or the paralysis of the anterior compartment muscle, which are the inverter muscle, so in those cases again that is the peroneal muscle will be hyperactive or overactive, and leading to the deformity of the foot, that is known as opposite of the varus, that is talus varus, that is the talus vagus foot, okay, or valgus or the valgi, you can say this one. So okay, this is the condition present in the lateral compartment of the leg. Okay. Now, how you can test this muscle, whether they are functioning properly or not. So, in your own case also you can see this, or you can try with other friends also. So, you can strongly avert your foot, okay, first with the, you can apply a resistance, strong resistance against, okay. After that, you can feel if this tendon, that is the peroneus longus and the brevis tendons are normal, then you can feel or you can palpate this tendon just inferior to the lateral malleolus, okay. So in if you that is the avert the foot properly against the resistance, then you can feel this tendon of the peroneus longus and the brevis, okay. If there is any damage, then you can't feel this tendon, okay. That is the testing of these two muscles. So after that, we have discussed about the retinaculum. So superior retinaculum, inferior retinaculum. So what are these retinaculum? Okay. So retinaculum or the retainer or the band which help in holding this tendon. Most important action of this retainer or the band are to hold the tendon of the muscle in its appropriate position, okay. So these are nothing but the thickened band of fibrous tissue which are derived from the deep fascia of the leg, okay. So the tendon of the peroneus longus and the brevis lies, that is passes deep to the this tendon, that is this retinaculum, okay. So superficial to this retinaculum will be the small saphenous vein, So it will arises from the lateral malleolus actually. It is passing laterally to the lateral malleolus. That is the small saphenous vein. Along with that, the sural nerve also passes. That is the, in relation you can mention about the relation of the superficial peroneal nerve, superior peroneal nerve, superior peroneal retinaculum are the one nerve and the one vein, that is S sural nerve, and the S small or the short saphenous vein, which is the second largest vein, that is superficial vein present in the leg. Okay, one is the great saphenous vein or the long saphenous vein. On the lateral side you will get the short saphenous vein. So now moving towards the superior peroneal retinaculum. So we have two retinaculum, superior peroneal retinaculum and the inferior peroneal retinaculum. So superior, you can see this one, superior peroneal retinaculum and the inferior peroneal retinaculum. So here we have already mentioned that is the thickened fibrous band of the deep fascia is the peroneal retinaculum. So just behind the, so you can see this is the malleoli, lateral malleolus formed by the lower end of fibula. So just behind the lateral malleolus of the fibula, okay, and extend from, it is same thing, lateral malleolus to the, this is the calcaneus, that is the lateral surface of the calcaneus. So you can see the posterior surface and this is the lateral surface of the calcaneus. So now attachment, you can see this is the fibula, lower end of the fibula. So this is the anterior surface of the fibula. You can see in the lower anterior surface, this is the posterior surface. So now anteriorly the superior retinaculum is attached to the back of the lateral malleolus. Okay, so back of the lateral malleolus is the anterior attachment of the superior retinaculum, and posteriorly it is attached to the, now this is the lateral surface of the calcaneum. So anteriorly to the posterior surface of the lateral malleolus and the posteriorly to the lateral surface of the calcaneum. So it plasters the tendon of, you can see, longus and the brevis tendon. After that, same thing, you can see superior retinaculum and the inferior peroneal retinaculum. Now inferior peroneal retinaculum, we can see, so it is again the thickened band of the fibrous tissue derived from the deep fascia and situated now that is the antero, you can see this is the, now again we are taking the landmark for the, that is the lateral malleolus. So antero inferior to the lateral malleolus, that is the lateral malleolus, antero inferiorly is the, that is the inferior retinaculum. So attachment, superiorly it is attached, this is the superior part and the inferior part, it is attached to the superior surface of the calcaneum. So this was the posterior surface, lateral surface, and here is the superior surface of the calcaneum. Okay, so superiorly attached to the anterior part of the superior surface of the calcaneum, close to the, you can see now, so this is the stem of the inferior extensor retinaculum. So this is the peroneal side, so the superior and the inferior peroneal retinaculum. Here you can see for the anterior compartment all the muscles tendon are passing via the again retinaculum. So here you can see the superior extensor. This is the anterior compartment is also known as the extensor retinaculum. So here two retinaculum, superior extensor retinaculum, inferior extensor retinaculum. So in the inferior extensor retinaculum, it is like Y-shaped. In the Y, you can see these are the two stem, two branches of the stem. So this is the stem of the inferior retinaculum and two rami are the branches of this inferior extensor retinaculum. Okay, so these stem. So inferiorly now it is close to the stem of the inferior extensor retinaculum is the superior attachment, and inferiorly you can see attached to the lateral surface of the calcaneum. So this is the attachment of the inferior retinaculum. So in between here, in between this stem and the lateral surface of calcaneum, so it is attached to the peroneal trochlea, which is the part of the calcaneum, thus forming the two loop. Okay, one for the tendon of the peroneus longus and other for the tendon of the peroneus brevis muscle. So now nerve of the lateral compartment, that is the superficial peroneal nerve. So here we are getting, it is a superficial peroneal nerve is also known as musculocutaneous nerve because first it will supply the muscle. After that it will pierces the deep fascia and will supply the skin. Okay, so muscular also and the cutaneous also. So the name given, that is the lower in the lower extremities or inferior extremities, the name of the superficial peroneal nerve is musculocutaneous, and one more musculocutaneous nerve you will get in the upper limb. Okay, so here the musculocutaneous nerve of the lower limb is superficial peroneal nerve. Okay, so origin, it is one of the terminal branch of the common peroneal nerve. You can see here superficial peroneal nerve and the deep peroneal nerve. So two terminal nerve of the common peroneal nerve arises, that is on the substances of the, you can see the peroneus longus on the lateral side of the neck of the fibula. So this point you have to remember. So head, neck of the fibula. So on the lateral side of the neck of the fibula is the origin of the superficial peroneal nerve. So for sporters you have to remember both common peroneal, that is the common peroneal nerve, superficial peroneal nerve and the deep peroneal nerve. All these three nerves you have to know for the sporters. After that, so first it was originated on the lateral side of the neck of the fibula. After that it descends downward, that is the short distance between the just below the peroneus longus and superficial to the peroneus brevis. Okay, in between now peroneus longus and the peroneus brevis, you have to trace the nerve in between the peroneus longus and the brevis. Then again it will go downward, lies in the groove again between two more muscles, that is the brevis and the extensor digitorum longus. I think you have already studied the muscles of the anterior compartment of the leg. So extensor compartment muscle. So to the digit, that is the extensor digitorum longus, right? Okay. So first it was in between the peroneus longus and the brevis. And after that again it lies in between the two other muscles, that is the brevis and the extensor digitorum longus. And at the junction now of the upper 2/3 and the lower 1/3 of the leg. So this is again important for surface marking also, you have to remember superficial peroneal nerve. So at the junction of the now upper 2/3 and the lower 1/3, it pierces the deep fascia. So because of this also it has given the name, that is the musculocutaneous nerve. Okay, so where it is piercing, that is in the upper 2/3 and the lower 1/3 junction. So and after that, after deep fascia, it go to the superficial fascia and it supply the skin of the lower anterolateral part of the leg, where it will divide into the again medial and the lateral branches to supply the skin of the foot, most of the foot. Okay, so above it is supplying the lower part of the anterolateral surface of the leg and dividing into the medial and lateral branches. These branches now will supply the skin of the dorsum of the foot. Again you have to know exceptional is there. So supply the dorsum of the skin of all the toes except for MCQ. Okay, so you have to know that is the lateral side of the fifth toe will not be supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve. So this area will be supplied by the sural nerve. Okay, so all the part of the dorsal side of the foot and the toes will be supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve, except the lateral side of the fifth toe, that will be supplied by the sural nerve. And in between the first and second toe, there is a cleft present, right? In between the first toe and the second toe, the cleft will be supplied by the branches of the deep peroneal nerve. That again you have to remember. Very common question for MCQ. So that will be the adjoining surface of the great toe and the second toe will be supplied by the deep peroneal nerve. So sometimes lateral branches of the superficial peroneal, this is sometimes only rare cases, nerve are frequently absent and replaced by the sural nerve. Okay. So mostly it will be by the superficial peroneal nerve. See the diagram. So gray color you can see that is the anterior lower part of the lateral surface of the leg is supplied by the, you can see this, by the superficial peroneal nerve, and the, that is the, you can see the structure. So toes, dorsum of the foot along with the toe, that is the first toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe also, and the fifth. But in between the first, that is the great toe and the second toe, this cleft, this yellow color is by the deep peroneal nerve, and this pink area, that the lateral side of the fifth toe, that is supplied by the sural nerve. That you have to remember. Okay, if you remember this diagram, then you will remember the nerve supply of this area. Now what will happen to the injury of the superficial peroneal nerve? Okay, so that is either there will be weakness because this will supply the muscles of the lateral compartment, which action is the everter of the foot. So there either it will be weakness in the eversion of the foot or the loss of the eversion of the foot due to the paralysis of the peroneus longus and the brevis muscle. So this is the muscular supply. After that it is also supplying the, that is cutaneous supply also is there. So there will be sensory loss on the lateral aspect of the leg. Along with that, there will be sensory loss on the dorsum surface of all the toes. Now except same thing coming, okay, that is the first interdigital cleft between the first and the second toe. Along with that, that is the lateral side of the fifth toe that is supplied by the sural nerve, and the first interdigital cleft which is supplied by the deep peroneal nerve. Okay, this is about the superficial peroneal nerve. So now MCQ. So this is the first question. So following muscle is attached to the both medial cuneiform and the base of the first metatarsal bone. So you have to reply now. You can unmute actually.
Peroneus longus.
Okay. So superficial peroneal nerve supplies which muscle now?
Peroneus longus.
Torsius will be supplied by which nerve? Peroneus torsius will be supplied by which nerve?
Deep. Peroneus.
Sorry? It is the muscle of which compartment? Peroneus
Deep
torsius?
peroneal nerve.
Okay. That is the muscle of anterior compartment, right? I think you have studied the structure. That formula is also there. The muscle that is passes behind or beneath the extensor retinaculum. Yes or no? Yes? Very, very important question. Structure passing beneath the extensor retinaculum of the leg. Yes or no? So every tendon of the muscle present in the anterior compartment of the leg will come there. Okay, you can make the formula and it. Okay, so peroneus torsius is the muscle of anterior compartment, extensor digitum, tibialis anterior, all are the anterior compartment. These are supplied by the deep peroneal nerve, right? So peroneus longus is the muscle from the lateral compartment supplied by the superficial peroneal nerve. Okay, so that third question.
Peroneus longus.
Peroneus longus.
So peroneus longus, tendon of the peroneus longus passes in the groove of the cuboid bone that will form the tunnel. Yes or no? Osteofibrous tunnel of the cuboid bone. So tendon will passes on the plantar surface of the cuboid bone where there is a groove. Okay. So fourth question.
B.
Can you clarify? First is correct, right? Supplied by superficial peroneal nerve. Why it is B?
Because it lies below the perineal trochlea.
So who is replying? What is your name? Hello? Hello? You told B, no? Hello? 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 You can't hear? Yes or no?
We
Answer
can
is
hear,
correct.
ma'am.
Sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you are correct actually. Answer is, that is there is
B
above
option.
consider it was below, right? Okay. So it is attached to the base of okay. So inferolateral side of the base of first metatarsal bone and causes the plantar flexion. If it is that is the eversion for the long period of time, it will be plantar flexion of the foot at the ankle joint. Okay. So after that, 4 MCQs are there. So now you have to study about the, I think you know now, origin, insertion, action, and the nerve supply, both the peroneus longus and brevis. And most important is peroneus longus because it has long course also. Even in the Viva also, we'll ask the course of the peroneus longus and the origin and insertion. Okay. Along with that, you have to know the superficial peroneal nerve, and most important is the effect of its injury is more important, right? So if there is damage to the superficial peroneal nerve, so what are the effects occurring in your body? Okay, that you have to know. Okay. So and even for the sporters also, you have to remember the superficial peroneal nerve. You have to identify superficial peroneal nerve, deep peroneal nerve, even common peroneal nerve. Okay. Okay. Is there any question regarding this topic? This is not very long topic actually. Okay. Any question? Hello? Clear? If there is no question,
Yes,
then it
ma'am.
must be clear, right? Clear or not?
Ma'am,
So please,
what is plantar?
please, sorry?
What is plantar flexion?
Plantar flexion means the dorsum is facing upward, right? So if you are in ankle joint, suppose, right? If it is facing upward, that is the dorsiflexion. If it is going down, I have to show, I think, okay? Can I'll open the camera. Can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
But I can see. Okay. So like this, actually, this is the plantar flexion. Okay. If you accent like this, foot, okay, foot like this is the dorsiflexion. If you moving downward, that is the plantar flexion.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Clear or
ma'am.
not? So
Okay,
if suppose
ma'am.
it is
Clear,
the
ma'am.
ankle, right? Okay. So if you are doing like this, that is the plantar flexion. So if we are doing like this is the dorsiflexion. In the foot, you can try same thing. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Other question? Plantar is below towards the, that is sole of the foot is the plantar, and dorsum is dorsum. Upper part of the foot is the dorsum, whereas the lower part is the plantar surface. Okay. So facing toward the plantar side is the plantar flexion, and towards the upper dorsal side that is the dorsiflexion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So origin, insertion. Are you clear about this muscle? At least two muscles are here actually, right? So less number of muscles. So for all the origin in insertion of this muscle, you have to know osteology part. So osteology must be very strong to know the origin and insertion of all these muscle, right? Are you going through this osteol part? At least basic part you can go through. All right?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
tibia, fibula, basic, the what are the that most important part in details you don't need to study now. Later on we'll take practice class. But now at least for muscle, along with that you can compare the osteology part also. Okay. So again, if you have any question, you can ask me by this one chat box also. Okay. Okay, thank you for now. I think nobody has question, right?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Okay.
You too, ma'am.
क्लास चलिरहेको बेलामा के खाने काम नगर है कसैले नि
Thank you, ma'am.